Good morning, students. And now let's start today's topic. It is about the breaking down of the glucose in various forms. Last time we were discussing about the types of respiration, that is the aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Now see the question. List out the different type of the anaerobic respiration. Then anaerobic respiration are also two type. One is called alcoholic fermentation, second is called the lactic acid fermentation or lactic acid formation. In first form, alcohol is formed, and in the second type, lactic acid is formed. Now see next. Next is breakdown of the glucose in the various forms. Yeah, various ways. Now breaking down of the glucose takes place in the three ways. First is in the presence of oxygen. This is the presence. Then second is absence, and third is lack. यानी कि पूरी तरीके से present है, और the second is totally absent, and third is lack of oxygen है but कम है. Then see one by one. The glucose, the formula of glucose is C6H12 and O6. It is 6 carbon compound. You can see 6 atoms are there. That's why it is 6 carbon molecule. Now this converts into the pyruvate. Pyruvate is 3 carbon compound. The formula starts from the C3. Then firstly, the first process is glucose converts into the pyruvate. It means 6 carbon molecule converted to the 3 carbon molecule. And this process takes place into the cytoplasm. It means this process is taking place inside a cell. सेल के अंदर हो रही है ये सारी प्रोसेस. तो ग्लूकोज ने सबसे पहले कहाँ एंटर किया है? सेल के अंदर. देन सेल में ये सेल के अंदर ग्लूकोज is breaking down into the pyruvate. Now the three conditions are there. Number one, if in the normal condition, presence of oxygen, if oxygen is present, it means every condition is normal, then this glucose molecules, it breaks down into the CO2 plus water plus energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Now second condition is if this is a process taking place in the mitochondria. Now if oxygen is absent, then this type of respiration, or we can say this type of pathway is followed into the yeast. Then alcohol and CO2 and energy is formed. Alcohol, ethanol, C2H5OH, ethanol is C2H5OH, ethanol is formed, carbon dioxide is formed, and energy is released. The energy released in this process, the first one, presence of oxygen, it is 38 ATP. In the presence of oxygen, 38 ATPs are produced. But in this condition, less energy is produced, and in the middle one also less energy is produced. Now see lack of oxygen. In the lack of oxygen, this takes place in the human muscle cells, and lactic acid and energy is formed. Lactic acid and energy is formed. Now once again revise it. Glucose, which is a 6 carbon compound, it breaks down into the 3 carbon compound pyruvate, where in the cytoplasm. Now this pyruvate enters into the mitochondria. Now see the three conditions are there. First, absence of oxygen, lack of oxygen, and presence of oxygen. The first one, absence of oxygen, takes place in yeast. Lack of oxygen in the human muscle cell, and third is the presence of oxygen. It is normal in mitochondria. This is a normal procedure. In the absence of oxygen, ethanol, CO2 and energy is formed. 2 ATPs are generated in this form. Then lack of oxygen, lactic acid is formed. Then presence of oxygen, CO2, water and ATP are formed. Actually in these two processes, the energy release is less because the energy is enclosed inside it. It is locked in the lactic acid and ethanol. That's why the energy production is less. Okay. Then come to the next. Next is how energy released during the respiration is stored. Energy release in the respiration, how it is stored, it is about it. Now see, I told you the energy is generated in the form of ATP. Now see, the energy produced during respiration is stored in the form of ATP molecule in the cell of the body and used by the organism as when required. Now see, ADP, ADP. This ADP, this is adenosine diphosphate. D for di, and here it is T, then tri. ATP is triphosphate, and this is ADP, it is diphosphate. Now, adenosine diphosphate, low energy, it is low energy content. Now, only two diphosphate, it means two phosphate molecules are there. Inorganic phosphate and adenosine triphosphate. This is a high energy content, and these are present inside a cell. The energy released during the respiration is used to make the ATP molecules from the ADP. ADP से ATP molecule बनते हैं. Thus, the energy is stored in the form of ATP, and when the cell need need the energy, then ATP breaks down into the ADP. That ATP breaks down. It means when the energy is required, then ATP breaks down into the ADP, and the energy is released. Energy is released. The energy equivalent to 1 minute. Now see, the energy which is released during the formation ATP into the ADP, the energy release is 30.5 kilojoule. 30.5 kilojoule per molecule of ATP. And ATP is also called energy currency of the cell. You all know it is about it. ATP is called energy currency of the cell. Is it clear to you? Now once again revise it. Energy is stored in the form of ATP. Now ATP converts into the high energy content, that is called ATP. When we need the energy, then this ATP again breaks down, or we can say it convert into the ADP. Here triphosphate is there, and this is diphosphate, that it means one inorganic phosphate molecule is released, and the energy released during this process is 30.5 kilojoule per molecule. Okay, that's enough for today. Thank you.